Are you a beginner blacksmith trying to start a small business like me? Do you want to learn how to forge consistently high quality hooks that look the same every time and are ready to sell? Are you ready to take your hook game from this to this? Then stick around, because in this video, I'm going to show you how. Welcome to Coal and Shield Ironworks. Today I'm going to be showing you the 8 steps it takes to forge perfect hooks every time. Let's get started. Step 1. Trust me when I say that this is the most important step of all. Get yourself some good quality eye protection and earmuffs. These are AS/NZS rated, so I know I can put my faith in them when I'm hammering hot steel all day long, because trust me, steel goes flying and the last thing you want is steel in your eye. You can pick these up from any large hardware store or safety supply shop. You're going to want to grab yourself some high quality leather gloves. I wear one on my offhand, which I use to grab material, and I leave my hammer hand gloveless, because if you're wearing a glove while you're using a hammer, it can actually get really slippery and you don't want that hammer flying. I almost forgot. Make sure you're wearing some good quality covered footwear. Step number 2, you want to be making sure that you're starting off with the correct material for your project. Right here, we're going to be using 170 millimeters of 12 millimeter round stock, mild steel. But you can change this if you want to make a different style or size of hook. If that's the case, this video will still help you. Pro tip. Don't be like me in the beginning and go to the scrapyard to find your steel. Chances are the steel you will find there will either be the wrong size, the wrong shape, or it could even have hairline cracks in it, which you really don't want. I actually made my first set of tongs out of an oversized piece of rebar that I spent hours drawing out, sweating my ass off, only to have the reins break in half right when I was done. That was because I didn't realize that rebar had a hairline crack in it that I grabbed out of the scrapyard. Don't waste your time. Instead, go to a steel supply shop. The price is probably going to be the same as if you went to the scrapyard anyway, except this time you're going to be getting clean material that is shaped exactly the way you want it. Now that the boring stuff's over, let's fire up the forge and move on to step number 3. This is less of a step and more like a tip. It's really important that you heat the steel to the correct temperature. If it's too cold, you're just going to waste your time trying to hammer steel that doesn't want to move. And if it's too hot, you're going to ruin all the fine shaping that you've done on the material. You'll know you've gone too far when sparks start flying off the steel like a sparkler. For the correct heat, you're going to want the color of the steel when it comes out of the forge to be a bright yellow, almost a straw color, but not quite when it's sparkling. It can be a little bit tough with a coal forge not to go over the top. It's a bit harder to control the temperature with coal, but if you've got a gas forge, it's actually a lot easier to control the temperature, and you can see the material inside the forge. You know if it's burning or not. Step 4. This is where the fun begins. Now we're going to forge the finial part of the hook, which is where it is screwed to the wall. We will start by forging a short taper down to a point. Then on our next heat, we will take a cube of material and isolate the finial part of the hook. Then we will flip our cross-peen hammer around, and then we will spread out the wings of the finial. And finally, we will punch the hole and then quench it and do some final refinements of the shape with our bench grinder. If you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to give me a like. It means a lot to me and it really helps the channel grow. Okay. I'm going to take this time to punch my touch mark. Well, it's the next day. It was getting a bit late at night and I had to go have some dinner. So I'm back and wearing the same shirt. Don't judge me. Now we can cut off our excess material and move on to step 5. We will begin by swapping to our rounding hammer with the round face and forging a short taper on the opposite end. A rounding hammer is useful for this because it helps disperse the energy throughout the workpiece, allowing you to draw out your workpiece more efficiently. Then we'll aim to forge the beginning of the taper, starting at the center point of the round piece of material. Pro tip, if you want all your hooks to be the same size, be sure to measure out the taper to the same length every time. I just use my anvil as a rudimentary measuring device because it's easy and quick. Now that we've drawn out our taper to the correct length, we will finalize the shape by forging out the corners to make the piece octagon. And then we'll forge it out to be round by rotating the workpiece as we work our way down the taper. This is an ideal time to change to some flat jaw tongs to hold on to the finial, because now that it's short, we can't hold it with our hand. Time for another heat. I like to measure the length from the edge of the anvil to about here. That's good enough for me. Now we're getting somewhere. Doesn't that look nice? It's time to move on to step 6, bending the hook. We will start by forging a scroll on the end of the taper. Make sure you're holding the workpiece front face up and then lightly tap the end of the taper over the edge of the anvil. Then flip it over and hammer the scroll closed until you get the shape you want. Now we'll move on to the large bend of the hook. For this part of the process, you're gonna need a hook bending jig if you want consistent bends in all your hooks. If a client's paying, they expect to get the same item as your product photos. I welded this hook bending jig together with a cheap gasless flux core welder. It's like a MIG welder, but without the big giant expensive bottles you have to lug around. I picked up this 100 amp Ozito model from Bunnings Warehouse for only about 240 bucks. Pretty cheap and it works. I just keep it under my workbench so I can pull it out when I need it and it's easy to pack away. Trust me when I say that one of the best skills you can learn in your workshop is how to make your own jigs. This goes for metalworking and woodworking, especially woodworking. Getting back on track, let's bend this hook. You want to get your workpiece nice and hot and then quench the scroll at the end because we don't want it to get deformed in the bending process. You want to hook your scroll in the notch and then pull the workpiece around the jig until you're happy with the shape. Before we move on, you want to take this time to heat up the workpiece again and chuck it in the vise and make any small adjustments. It's very rare that a hook will come off the anvil perfectly. We're on the final stretch. Let's move on to step 7, finishing the hook. For this, you're going to want to get your workpiece at a nice bright orange heat and then use a wire brush to remove any forge scale that's left over from forging. For extra stubborn forge scale, you can always use a wire brush attachment on an angle grinder or a power drill. After about a minute of the hook sitting at a black heat, you can then apply the finish of your choosing. Popular finishes to use are beeswax, which is a good natural food grade finish. You can use paste wax, which applies nice and smoothly, or in this case, boiled linseed oil. It has a nice dark finish that I like, but it's not food safe, so don't use this on any forged items that are going to be coming in contact with food. You want the finish to lightly smoke during application. Let it sit for about a minute, then wipe off the excess. And don't forget to do the same for the screw of your choosing, because you want them to have the same color and finish. If this video has helped you so far and you want more videos like this, smash that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and it helps this channel grow. Now there's one last step you need to take if you want to improve your hooks. Drum roll please. Practice! Every time you complete one part of the process, stop and look at your work. Look for ways you can do better on your next hook and apply it. You would be surprised at how quickly your skills will improve. My second hook I made after this one was a whole lot better, I promise you. So if you make 10 of these, by that 10th one, your hooks, I can guarantee you, will look like this. That's why we're here, isn't it? My goal with this channel is to create a community that can support each other, give each other tips, and to help each other grow in their blacksmithing career. Forging hooks is a fantastic way to improve your blacksmithing skills. It's a great way to not only get your head around tapering, but also isolating material, fine hammer work, and bending. I want you to leave a comment. Did this video help you? Did I miss anything out? What do you want to forge next? Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching this video. I really look forward to hearing your thoughts. But until then, see you next time, and have a good night.